participants to join. I see it's picking up. 49, 50 as they're picking up. So we're just keeping the call open for a while before we join.
So, for the agenda, we will start with Professor Erman Coşkun to give about the major facts of the digitalization. It's really a hard topic for not only universities, but all the business world and the global issue. And then we will focus on specifically higher education, industry, and more focus will be for the audit and risk management issues. We will try to be, summarizing the issues so that people can ask questions. And also, I added a section. Please, you also contribute in that part. I'm planning to welcome some researchers to do some nice work. So this can be welcoming for researchers or professionals that can join us for next steps.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. That would be wonderful. So yes, I'll be in the...
I'll share the presentation via WhatsApp so that we can catch up and, give some words related to the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. It's very exciting, and I think it's going to be very valuable. I see our attendees are joining. We have Evan Sinyaka from Johannesburg already. Let's see who else. Attendees, please tell us where you're from. We've got Prof. Tel Edgars from Sandton. I saw an attendee saying hi from Sydney in Australia. I wonder what the time is there at the moment. Malaysia, Ilse Morgan from South Africa, Rosemary from Windhoek, Harare, Sweden, Portia from Limpopo in South Africa. So welcome everyone. It's wonderful to have you on board. Our participant numbers are still climbing, so we're going to give it another minute or so. So from Gaborone, Kuli from Johannesburg, Corey, South Africa, someone from Uzbekistan. So we've got an excellent time slot to allow as many participants as possible. We have two very esteemed presenters today, and we're really privileged to have you on board. Let me see. I think it's about 3 minutes past. A whole bunch of attendees already. So I think it is a good time for us to get going, as we still receive hellos from all over, and especially one from Turkey. Wonderful. So let's kick this off. Welcome, everyone. My name is Lindy Greebe. I'm one of the steering committee members of the Good Governance Research Forum, and it's my privilege to welcome today to our Good Governance Academy platform, Prof. Cesar Boscas. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Cesar?
Very well,
and then
thank you.
And Prof. Erman Coşkun, you said we must present. It is absolutely our privilege to have these two esteemed senior researchers from Turkey presenting on our platform today. And as you can see from our attendees and their chats, it certainly is a big privilege to have you here. So thank you for that. I'm going to give over to you right away. Please jump in and feel free to share your excellent knowledge on university auditing in a digital era. Am I correct? Thank you. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much. And good morning and good afternoon to all of our participants, because we have a large population coming from all different countries. So I think addressing them as good morning and good afternoon would be a good choice. And my name is Erman Coşkun, and I'm an MIS Professor, Management Information Systems Professor at İzmir Bakırçay University in Turkey. I had my PhD from the United States, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and then I worked in the US in different institutions and some universities in Turkey as well. And I have some experience in Saudi university. We established an entrepreneurship university in Saudi Arabia for last 5 years. So I was part of that. And today we will be talking about digital transformation of universities, and especially Professor Cesar Boscuș is expert in auditing of universities. So my role here will be just making an introduction, what we should be understanding today's universities from today's universities, and what is the importance of digital transformation for today's universities. And then I will hand over that microphone to Professor Cesar Boscuș, and then she will be addressing auditing related issues. But let me share my screen with you so we can start. I think everybody can see it. There's no problem. I will make it full screen and let's start. Okay, again, my role is talking about digital transformation and universities. And let's start with today's higher education, because when we were students at universities, we had a different understanding of universities or different roles of universities. But today, thanks to capitalism, thanks to other things, universities or the meaning of university is also changing, right? And universities are supposed to have direct relationship with business world and the environment, surrounding environment for them. But 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that was not the case. So the meaning or the definition of university is changing, and we must work with the real businesses or with the surrounding environment for the universities more closely. And why this is changing? Because there are some certain reasons, but I will be mentioning two of them. Number one, competition is increasing, and financing of universities are becoming more and more problematic in many countries. And right now, governments are saying, okay, universities, you should be continue your efforts or your work with your own financing. And they are cutting budgets for universities, especially for US universities and in some other countries. So number one, competition is increasing. It means we see more and more universities, and these universities are kind of racing to get best students or good students under their name. And the second one is financing. So what happens as a result of competition and financing? Number one, comparison in performance between institutions. So universities are more like focusing on performance, and they are being evaluated or assessed based on the performance of the institutions. Okay, why? Because again, we want best students to come to our university, and in order to get best students, our performance should be high. Number two, we are trying to standardize measurements for university outputs, right? We are saying, okay, how many students graduated from you? How many of them find some jobs? How many of them, or what is the average salary for your students? And these are public information right now. Maybe for US, it was there for a long time, but for other countries, in my country, for example, university performance or standardized measurement of output from universities is also increasing every day. So it is becoming more important, and we are comparing universities. Quality development efforts, yes, we are seeing a lot of new universities are coming up, and quality is becoming more and more important. And everybody is trying to increase their quality with different measures. Accreditation is a big problem, especially I'm coming from business area, and I'm an evaluator for ABET, and more institutions are trying to get accreditation. Why? Because accreditation provides them top 5% or 10% among all other universities. So accreditation makes a good name, and accreditation helps them to get more highly qualified students. In addition to that, of course, standardization is important, and we are making our universities curriculum similar to all other countries or all other similar institutions. Continuous improvement, yes, we are trying to improve, and we are trying to measure, because in order to improve, we need to measure first. So we are getting a lot of feedback from students. We are getting a lot of feedback from our partners, business partners, and we are trying to find out how we can improve our performance as universities. Institutions aim to take place in the higher levels in ranking tables. Yes, all the magazines and other websites and others are ranking our universities. And of course, as the rector or the president of university, we are always trying to climb on that ranking tables, and we want to be in top 10, top 20 universities. So all of them are changing the meaning and operations of universities. And of course, because we need to hire more professors or faculty members, and we need to create some new research labs and other stuff, our financial needs are increasing dramatically. And then insufficient sources allocated from the state budget. Okay, states or governments, they don't want to support, or they don't say, okay, you are free, I will give you this much money, and then you are free to spend that, right? There is restrictions, more and more restrictions, and amount of money coming from governments in terms of supporting universities is decreasing. So all of them, when you think all of them together, it is changing the meaning of or operations of universities. So today, basically, we are talking about a market-like or business-like universities. Universities must think as businesses in order to survive in today's competitive environment. Okay, and basically, they need to develop, market, and sell a wide range of products. They cannot say, okay, I graduated this many students and I'm done. No, we need to market our university because of the competition. We need to create different products. We need to create different projects to address business needs and other needs of our partners or environment, and we need to address them. So everything is changing for universities. In addition to that, there's another term. It is called academic capitalism. And academic capitalism is here. And this theory addresses the ways in which institutions of higher education are becoming more like businesses, just what I said. Okay? And basic concepts of the theory says that, okay, universities will be evaluated or assessed based on their success, based on their performance, based on their competitiveness and accountability. I think accountability is more related with Professor Cesar Boscu's speech, so I will be leaving that. But yes, we need to be successful. We need to measure our performance, and we will be living in a competitive environment, right? Because number of students are decreasing, or number of universities are increasing more than we get new students. So competitiveness will be an issue for universities. And universities need to increase their economic competitiveness. They need to find some new financing in order to support their operations. And accountability is important, because everything is more clear and expectations are clear. So we must provide accountability to our, again, partners or surrounding environment. So businesses must use information systems or information technologies. I will be switching from the new meaning of university to why universities should be digitally transforming. Okay, under all these conditions, what was the solution coming from the business world? They were saying, hey, we need to use computers, we need to make better decisions, faster decisions, and we need to digitally transform our institutions in terms of businesses. I'm talking about businesses, right? And we are seeing this since 1980s, more and more computer utilization in different universities, in different departments, marketing, finance, accounting, and other departments. So businesses are benefiting, or businesses are using more and more information systems. And thanks to COVID-19, everything has changed. And right now, everybody has to use information systems, or everybody should be digitally transforming themselves. But basically, why they need digital transformation or business analytics? In order to gain a competitive advantage. We are sitting on top of a huge amount of data. We are collecting all kinds of data about student performances, about our finances, about our customer feedback or partner feedbacks, and all kinds of data is being collected in our information systems. But collecting data is one thing, and it is a starting point. But if you don't use that data for better and faster decision-making, it will not be helpful to you at all as a university or as decision makers in universities. So in order to gain a competitive advantage, in order to achieve our success, in order to improve your performance, and in order to increase your economic competitiveness and accountability, universities must use digital forms, and they must digitally transform. COVID-19, what happened with COVID-19? before, we were always preferring face-to-face, especially in my country. We were always saying that, okay, university education should be face-to-face. Yes, there were some online education initiations and initiatives, and I was part of that online education for almost 20 years right now. So universities were always preferring face-to-face if it is possible. But with COVID-19, all of a sudden, everything stopped. And we couldn't do anything in terms of face-to-face teaching or learning. And then what we saw, all the universities tried to get some online platform, and every university, almost every university, tried to create some online teaching or learning environment, okay, online platform. So after COVID-19, I am summarizing this with this sentence. Before COVID-19, digital transformation was optional. But after COVID-19, it is a requirement. You cannot survive without digital transformation. So our universities right now, under all these conditions, economic conditions and environmental conditions and other conditions, must digitally transform. Okay? And with this digital transformation, they can or they can achieve a lot of things. And how this digital transformation should be occurring in universities, it can be happening in academic area in terms of our teaching and learning, research and innovation. But please remember that every university has a business side as well, right? We all have administrative or managerial departments, human resources, marketing, accounting and finance, housing and dining for our students. These are more business-like establishments inside our universities. So yes, university analytics or digital transformation can support you on academic area, but at the same time, because we are becoming more business-like institutions, we can also get a lot of benefits from digital transformation of our universities. And what you can provide or what you can achieve with digital transformation in a university environment, we have different types of information systems or digital means, and they can provide you early alert systems for your academic issues, for your financial issues. They can provide you a lot of reporting, data analysis, data visualization for your decision makers, so they can make much better decisions and much data-driven or much informed decisions. You can make predictions, okay? How many students will be leaving my institution in coming 2 years? So all this kind of information right now, yes, if you have a very senior level manager or high level administrator, you can achieve them. But what happens if you don't have that kind of expertise inside your institution? But with digital transformation, all these possibilities are available, and universities can change based on the conditions, based on the business conditions and other conditions. And in terms of digital transformation, what is digital transformation? I will be finishing up with this one, and then I will leave it to Dr. Cesar. Now, digital transformation is a survival issue for all kinds of organizations and all kinds of companies. Again, 2 years, 3 years ago, it was optional. Yes, many companies were trying to digital transform, or many institutions were trying to digital transform, but some of them were not taking it seriously because they didn't have any huge motivation. But after COVID-19, again, there were a lot of restrictions, a lot of problems, and then everybody had to digitally transform themselves. So right now it is a survival issue. What is this digital transformation? Digital transformation is the integration of all these digital technologies into all areas of business. When you think about universities, all university departments can benefit from digital transformation. And what will happen with digital transformation? We will be fundamentally changing how we operate and how we deliver value to our students or our customers or our partners, business partners. So digital transformation is not easy because I am doing some research on digital transformation. I need to mention this. Just buying technology, just creating some information systems will not help you with digital transformation. It will help you with digitization or digitalization. Okay, these are first 2 steps for digital transformation. But if you want to get full benefit from digital transformation, you must culturally change your institution. It means you need to buy technology, or you need to decide what kind of technologies you can get. But at the same time, You need to know your organization. You need to know your university, your people, your culture, your administrative style, your leadership style. All of them are affecting the success or unsuccess of digital transformation. So digital transformation should be taken very, very seriously by the universities. If digital transformation can be successful, then you will get a lot of benefits. But if you cannot digitally transform yourself, or if, for example, let me give you another number, 70% failure rate for digital transformation projects. 70% of digital transformation projects are failing today. It is a huge rate. Why? Because most people are seeing digital transformation as just purchasing of technology and try to use that technology, but it will not happen. You need to optimize technology, people, human, managerial issues, and other things. So when you are trying to digitally transform your university, you should be taking care of all this stuff. Let me stop here and then let me leave it to Dr. Cesar so she can continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And greetings from Kyrgyz Republic, Bishkek, to all our colleagues and academics and everybody. You are all welcome. And Professor Erman Coşkun just stopped at the right time with the right sentence, because it's not only the business culture, university culture, it's also related to, directly related to the audit culture as well. Otherwise, we cannot give assurance to our stakeholders. This is actually the main focus of our meeting today. And you are all welcome to our webinar session. I will be presenting my presentation. Let me just show you the screen. So today, universities are very critical institutions, and after this opening speech and giving some detailed information by Prof. Erman Coşkun, I'm trying to give you a feeling and the approach about the auditing and risk management perspective, actually, because they are in the digital platform, interconnected issues, and will be going like this in the future, as we can see that. So if you are an auditor, you need to see the big picture. We all know that. So this is, for the universities, quite important. And for this reason, we start from the global risk environment. So when we look at the global risk and the big picture with the recent figures, we can see that we call VUCA word, which means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and in addition to that, everything is ambiguous and not will be changing at all. And you see this statistics are not only for today, but part of this World Economic Forum survey. You can see the global risk report and all details explained. I highly recommend to follow for all internal auditors and risk managers to see what's going on in our profession. So as you can see, when we ask the participants for the next 10 years, so we see economic issues are going down, but environmental, geopolitical, societal, and also technological issues are all interconnected and in our priority and in our agenda for the business. As we call business, because universities are also part of the business world and need to understand and contribute to the actually qualified skills and staff production process, let's say. So for the overview of the risk, we see that we are digitalizing. Digital transformation is everywhere, and this creates a digital society which is full of risk society. Why we call this as risk? Because we need to consider human resources and relate to that auditing issues and risk management issues, data analytics, social media, and also artificial intelligence in our agenda. So digitalizing, this is a process, and digital transformation is not that easy. As Professor Erman Coşkun mentioned, if you don't change your culture and fully adapt, you cannot make use of this digital transformation, and you can waste your resources and etc. So here, control and security issues and the mechanisms behind this are lagging behind all the time, and along with the understanding and perception of the industrial society, we call that, industry 4 and 5, blah, blah. Risks are all widespread, and as a result, digital civilization actually emerge and transform into risk society for us. So what's going on in the world and actually for the business environment, we need to analyze and see the big picture. So, for instance, when you look at the world's largest taxi company, they do not own any cars. Or the most popular social media owner does not produce any content. And we can make many other examples for this. And we call this new business approach as platform economies to get use of these positive economies of scale out of these digital platforms and big data, actually. So our new approach is based on data is new oil. And when we look at the publicly traded companies, we can realize this fact. And actually data, and especially the intelligence behind it, makes the companies either win or lose their opportunities. So this is the global risk environment we are facing. It's not only for advanced economies, it's the case for every economies. And you can understand from our participants and attendees, they are all welcome, and I'm sure they feel similar, experiences in their own countries as well. The effects of digital transformation on business processes, specifically for the higher education institutions, can be focusing on the digital, how we understand digitalization, digital transformation, how this convert our understanding of auditing and risk management issues. You see all the 0, 1, 1, 1. This means we are surrounded with the algorithms, full of digital. So here, when we talk about the digital transformation, you can work from anywhere. As Prof. Erman Coşkun mentioned, COVID is the break-even time for everything. And at any time, using any device to access any content, and it's also everybody, available for all of us. In this such a digital transforming, fast digital transforming process, we realized that universities are also changing. And when we compare first generation, second generation, and third generation universities, we realize that each time we add some more qualifications and some roles, key roles to universities. And the most important role is, you can see from the table, is entrepreneurs. So connected to Erman Coşkun's business approach, we have the entrepreneurship, interdisciplinary approach, creating value, and not only the chancellors managing the universities, but we have professional management approach needed to transform this culture to be competitive, productive, and have some ratings available on the higher education list. This requires internal and externally staff orientation needs and strong leadership to transform and get use of this digitalization process. We can give some examples: into the job, on the job, out of or near the job trainings are needed. This means universities are not only for youngsters, but everybody should be having the chance to get lifetime value out of this training and adapting to new features and getting new qualifications. Otherwise, they won't be competitive and losing their jobs. So, in such a world, we can say that there is a change in the business landscape for universities economically, as Erman Coşkun mentioned, educational, social, and technological perspectives. We, in detail, explain these issues in our joint book with Erman Coşkun. And you are all welcome to, focus on different aspects of universities. And I would like to mention actually about the diversity of students is also quite important for university analytics. And most of the universities are trying to be competitive, to be more internationalization figures and facts, and so that they can attract more attention globally. So if we are talking about universities as business, we should start from the business model. So this is the complicated, but when you carefully look inside, you see that we have some strategic management, resource management, education, research, and all stakeholders. As you can imagine, this is typical business model, but specifically for the education industry. Actually, as auditors, we are supposed to understand and get the key risk indicators out of each processes and sub-processes to capture the risk universe for the university. So digital, if you are digital, then you need to have your digital business model, and we establish this with a theoretical background and framework. Here we know that e-business models are typical. You define the concept, terminology, business model structure, and model management process, which is the key for the auditors and risk managers to understand how the model and the process and sub-processes are connected, controlled, and monitored for early warning mechanisms. Here, if we consider the e-business model, we need to understand the strategy. Each university has their own strategy. We know that their visions, missions, all kinds of activities and their objectives, everything is defined beforehand and publicly available. So from this issue, we get strategic components, stakeholder components, and the value creation components to understand each level of the e-business model, to analyze, to get the value added approach, and if there is something missing between these models, we need to analyze, compare, and also benchmark. It's not only internal, but externally comparing with other universities to understand what is missing and who is the or what is the weakest link within this model. So we have the strategy model, resource model, network model, revenue model, finance model, value creation model, procurement, market offer model, because it's not only for making the trainings and closing the doors, but universities should be like business and all market-like natures. So if we have this vision, then we need to consider our competitors, the demand structure, value offering products, and all kinds of services available within the universities. The good news is that if you are digital and you have many tools and techniques to analyze things, means you can take decisions easily. And if you see two different organizations, one of them is traditional U-form organizational structure. Everything is just decided by the top management. The other one is full of digital environment, the data, and all the governance and control structures are distributed within the organization. Information is also shared depending on internal control standards. Then there is no issue for keeping all the decision-making structure at the top management. If you are doing that, this means you are slow. You are not competitive anymore. So in addition to top management, depending on your own organizational structure, sharing information, governance and control, supported by this, you have intensive decision-making process to be more competitive in the environment. So how to transform and make this vision? It starts from the digital vision and thought leadership, because if you have literacy in digital culture and everything, then you can easily transform all the processes and you become part of the digital ecosystem. And how you can do this, it's again depending on your strategy as a university. Either you prefer to make it outsourced, or you can internally develop. You can have some partnership or procurements to transform and digitally equip business processes within the university. Actually, what does going digital really mean in business context? And here we have all media, paid media, and earned media tools and many big data resources available for the universities. So when we talk about higher education institutions, digital can be either backbone or only as a support. So it's really a critical decision for the top management, because in such a competitive digital society, they need to make it backbone so that they can make use of all tools and techniques and analytics and be part of the intensive decision-making process. Some data coming from oversights, some from review mention, and all kinds of voluntarily social media assets, or some earned media via advertisements and promotions. These are all available. But as auditors and risk managing professionals, we need to be careful about this digital platforms actually. If we are collecting the data, we need to be sure about the source and whether it is reliable, or sometimes can be really dangerous and full of incorrect inferences. That's why we call it double-edged sword. And here, internal auditors and risk managers should be quite careful about the input and quality of output, so that university analytics can be reliable and good tool for decision-making process. You see digital transformation. We have, of course, external pressures, internal pressures. We need to be competitive. We have some performance targets and everything. We have many digital transformation objects can be defined specifically for each universities. And for the digital transformation process, we need to consider digitization, relationships, competencies, and the mindset to transform not only the infrastructure, but also the culture and the, all stakeholders' minds to adapt to a competitive environment. In this approach, if you fully apply this, then you can get value out of this. Short-term outputs, and it comes out as long-term outcomes with full of impact. And we highly recommend during this digital transformation process to apply United Nations Global Compact responsible management education ecosystem, let's say, and you get many feedbacks, many data and networking opportunities supporting your journey, so that you can get some idea about what's going on in the global arena. So data collection is the key, not only for the business management, but also internal auditors and risk managers. We need business intelligence infrastructure by using digital methods. And in this way, we collect university data and use it in various decision-making processes. But I would like to remind you about the university analytic maturity level. If you are not ready to use an advanced technique, please start from the beginning. Otherwise, you can have some troubles. And at this stage, actually, we first start from standard reporting structure, and advanced way is, as Erman Coşkun mentioned, optimizing and predictive modeling techniques are quite valuable. And university analytics is at that stage become the highest added value for the organization. What do we mean? If you are doing such analysis, then you have biasing and stochastic modeling techniques integrated to your auditing and risk management approach. The maturity is directly connected to your digital maturity level assessment. And if you are automated and just using basic algorithms, then no artificial intelligence is there. But if you are starting to use some machine learning techniques, deep learning, algorithms, but this time with cognitive technologies, computer visions, and all kinds of data types can be analyzed, then you are in a very lucky position, and you can capture many risks and also early warning mechanisms beforehand. But doing this is not that easy. You see a standard computer, and the other one is the quantum technology behind this. If you want to be the leader within the universities, you need to transform your technology, infrastructure, and everything to adopt and get more out of this. If you have the quantum technology behind your institution, you will be more secure, more intelligent, and full of, safe side, let's say, not 100%, of course, as auditors, we know that, reasonable, giving reasonable assurance and reasonable security level. Cryptography is quite helpful, and quantum internet and quantum cloud computation infrastructure all needed in our new business environment. Because when we talk about 5G, cloud, smart cities, big data, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and all these techniques can only be sustainable with the quantum technology. What do we mean by quantum algorithms? You define the problem. With quantum algorithms, you can simulate the problem, formulate, and then you can faster and more accurate way of solving the problems, and risk assessment advantages are there. So somebody is saying you that I'm glad you are happy to use our service. May I help you with other issues? You can recognize other is a real person, human, or a robotic. So by the way, our next session will be the impact of robots on good governance. So you are all welcome to join our next webinar. And this is all connected to our auditing approach, auditing culture. We need to rethink our auditing as well. What is in our agenda? We need to be careful about the virtual world, digitalization, grant management, immigration, research expenditures, talent management, all kinds of, traditional issue, but still in our agenda, facilities and asset management, cybersecurity, student debt, and other accreditation issues. As Prof. Erman Coşkun mentioned, accreditation is quite a big pressure for the universities, and they have their own standards and expectations. This means audit university is transforming because the world is changing, the workplace, and also the workforce. Everything is changing. This means audit universe should be transformed considering the strategy, organizational structure, system, and process to adopt and give reasonable assurance for the stakeholders. It's not that easy. This is because risk universe is really complicated, and we have many other systemic risk resources arising from the technology. We typically know that we have known knowns, known unknowns, but in addition to that, within this risk iceberg, we have unknown knowns and unknown unknowns. This creates I don't know how many of you are really doing the field work and used to this risk matrices and risk math. Sometimes we call it heat math. It's not only enough to make it linear. You know, we have this impact and probabilities. In addition to these two dimensions, we need to be multidimensional, adding the knowledge to our risk measurement techniques. So if we have everything symmetrical, means we have a linear solution. But in reality, it's not the case anymore. So we have unknown, make it not only the first order knowledge, but also second order knowledge is needed. You see some histograms, and most of them are not normally distributed. Means we are in a position to analyze as risk managers and auditors, not symmetrical, but asymmetrical. In addition to that, we have some chaotic VUCA word we are talking about, means new risk based on technology brings us unknown to our agenda. We cannot run away and we need to understand. And for this purpose, we used to rely on value-at risk modeling and standard techniques, but it's not enough anymore. We need to be flexible and dynamic. And this means when we are measuring the risk, not only the beta risk, but now it's the tail risk. And the dynamic process means you are facing entropy, and we can deal with such situations by analyzing structural modeling approach. And if you have the data, existing data, any form of data is relevant for analyzing and establishing dynamic models. So this brings a new era, a digital era for the auditors and risk managers. And we can summarize key issues as the risk universe is changing, the risk analysis techniques are changing. This means we should be reporting in a different style. Risk reporting structure is also changing. So higher education industry professionals, starting from the auditors and risk managers and all top management, need to be prepared for a new learning process to understand the new type of risk and dynamic approach to solve these situations. And as you remember, not only the triple line of defense is ineffective from now on, and we need to apply other dynamic techniques. How can we do that? We have many tools and techniques available, and they are quite easy and user-friendly approaches. You can make some data visualization, cluster analysis, robotics, network analysis, big data analytics, and everything is possible. As I said, if you have an existing data, even if you don't have the data, you can create some simulated synthetic data as well. So everything is possible. This requires a audit cultural change, actually rethinking everything to give assurance for our stakeholders. If you are talking about the defense model, you may be stalled, but we need to change our culture to be proactive, supporting the top management, and quality of the reporting structure should be based on value-added approach. How can we do that? We have a new vision of 3 lines model, which is introduced and promoted by IAE President Richard Chambers here in State, and thanks for all his support and good things for our profession. So this brings us in a position which we should consider the probabilities, because we are talking about the future. Future is full of probabilities. Risk management, time and frequency domain will be our major focus. And past, if you are relying on the checklist, it's not efficient to give reasonable assurance for your stakeholders anymore. So university business structure is based on digital risk reporting mechanisms. And the business model of a digitally transforming university regarding teaching and learning, research, employment, and also reward systems are all changing quite fast nowadays. And for this reason, we need to adapt our business model and all relationship, key stakeholders, and everybody is influenced about this situation. And we need to be careful about the environment, not internally, but external issues as well. So technology is something both internal and external risk factors, and we generally call this as digital risks. And technology, internet, social networks, artificial intelligence, big data, analytics, and everything. We need to analyze and rethink about universities' risk profile based on these issues. So how can we respond to these digital risks? You see COSO and COSO ERM standards are quite useful and supporting all internal auditors, internal control and risk professionals by advising that responding to digital risks can be classified as creating awareness about the possible digital risks, analyzing them, discovering new ones, implementing process change to diminish or threat the digital risk, and evaluating or prioritizing digital risk by means of relevant measurements, and also implementing technology changes, especially for the universities. Innovations are quite important, and how to minimize these risks can be defined based on university analytics, mostly coming from the learning analytics. This is also defined in our book in detail, and I give a summary of this because it can be a micro level just for the course level, classroom. And in that level, your focus is just the learners, digital learning environment, and the physical conditions connected to your learning analytics. But when it comes to meso, macro, and mega level, you need to change your vision and collect more and more big data. And within this data, we just classify each of them, how they come, how we use, and how we make it as a tool for not only top management, but also for auditors to define the risk universe, and also make necessary tests and findings can be reported based on facts and figures coming from reliable big data. So we have administrative data, which is coming from the business model and the processes and sub-processes of each administrative data. And we define key performance indicators, key risk indicators, and also key control indicators. 3 of them should be in balance so that you are efficient, effective, economic, but these are not enough. Also, we need to establish especially for digital environment, ethical standards should be high level. And universities should be announcing their ethical values, ethical standards, and everything at the highest level to make it more reliable, useful for the organization. So we have educational data analytics coming from administrators, students, and lecturers. And each of them is providing quite valuable information. Depending on our audit field work and focus of the agenda, we can decide which one to use, or we can just establish some integrated field works to get the whole picture for the organization. But it's also possible to define just risk universe for the lecturers, research part, students, administrative purposes, and organizations' needs and expectations are important, and they can be decided by top management decisions. But when we make such decisions, we need to monitor and update our stakeholder map and decide our audit field works and risk priorities depending on this current structure of the stakeholder map. As you can see, we have the process and collaboration issue, customership, partnership, and students are part and part of the all kinds of operations, starting from administration to all academicians and everybody. So organizational learning and also finance is part of our risk universe. In such a world, auditors should be open to communication to get reliable data, understand the vision of the management and everybody. So internal auditors need to have an open communication line for immediate escalation through audit committee when a significant event or fraud occurs within the organization. This is a cultural change needed. If you just wait for the regular meeting times, it can be too late for the organization because everything is digital, online, real time, and your auditor is waiting for the meeting date. So this is not relevant for the situation. So audit committee should be open and ready for not only physical meetings, it can be virtual meetings. As you know, after this COVID process, everybody gets used to have their own culture transformed to digital needs and expectations from their stakeholders. This is all needed because everybody is after value-added things and value-added capabilities. So for auditors, we should show ourselves with value-added monitoring capabilities. So here we have continuous auditing and continuous monitoring tools and techniques recommended. Each kind of data can be connected to such a continuous audit and continuous monitoring approach. We have the technology-enabled auditing based on university data analytics, and continuous compliance management should be achieved by risk monitoring and assessment, data audit, and control monitoring based on all digital transformed analytical tools and techniques, and the robotics are the top in our list. Mobile applications, all kinds of automation, sensoring, ERP, and e-learning techniques can be used for changing the audit culture to make it technology-enabled auditing structures. So these elements, yeah.
Sorry to interject. This is captivating. I just want to remind you that our time is up. If you can wrap up slowly as you get to the end.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I just give you technology as an audit tool should be used. And Professor Erman Coşkun mentioned about the COVID-19 and importance of the impact on the audit agenda. We need to be, proactive and taking care of the issues related to technology. And now I come to the end of my presentation, but before I say thank you, I would like to invite you research collaboration. We are in the Good Governance Academy research platform, and we have a forum. You are all welcome to do some research with us. As you see, Erman Hocam and me have a recent book, which is the first academic book on the university auditing techniques. And we are ready to contribute new colleagues with new research topics. That's why I would like to mention it. And here we have a dynamic risk monitoring and audit mechanism for continuous improvement. We have priority areas for the universities. It's all about the social impact in our agenda. And for that reason, we recommend United Nations Responsible Management Education techniques. And please, we invite you to those platforms as well. And for qualification and skill set, we need to improve our technical and ethical qualifications, intelligence, creative, digital, emotional, vision, and experience. So for the auditors, it's the open source data analytics and risk and audit analytics. R and Python platforms are quite popular. And please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about this. We have many ready tools and techniques and reporting structures available within R. And also R for Ladies is a specific network. You are all welcome to join us. And these are the key issues and research topics we propose. And as I mentioned via messaging part, we will be sharing this presentation, and you are always welcome to collaborate, ask questions, and be with us. And we are ready to share all our experiences with you. Thank you very much for joining our session, and I'm ready to answer if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, wow. You were indeed extremely generous with the sharing of your own research and your own information, and we really appreciate it. From our chat, it is clear that our attendees really appreciate this and are very interested in learning more about it. So unfortunately, time is up. Our attendees or anyone interested are welcome to contact Prof. Cesar or Prof. Erman directly. You'll find the details on our website. Please look at the research project on digitalization. Prof. Cesar leads that research project for the Good Governance Academy. You'll find that under research and forums on our website. I wish we had the whole day. There's still so much to learn and to ask. Even myself as an auditor, there's just so much more that I want to know. But I think you also have a lot of those answers in your book, of which the information is also there on our website. So thank you once again, Prof. Cesar and Prof. Erman. Thank you so much for your time and sharing so much with us. We will see you again on the 15th of April. Thank you and goodbye.